Welcome to this overview of AP European history. AP Euro is filled with stories that'll make you realize that reality beats fiction every time, and stuff you just can't actually believe really happened. The cool thing is the stories in this class have a long-term impact and affect the world we live in today in so many different ways. Now, the story begins 600 years ago, just as Europe was facing its own pandemic. Somewhere between 30 and 50% of the population of Europe died in the Black Death. Bring it out today! Okay, of course, amidst all this death was an amazing Renaissance you're all familiar with, including the works of Da Vinci, Michelangelo, and again, in one of the many great ironies you'll see in this course is that in order to raise the money to build this stunning cathedral in the Vatican, the Catholic Church helped spark a major division within the faith that led to over 100 years of religious violence. What you see in this depiction is the St. Bartholomew's Day massacre, which happened in France in 1517. After years of simmering violence between Catholics and Protestants, the King and Queen of France decided to sort of paper over the stuff and marry their daughter, who was Catholic, to the son of one of the leading Protestant families. But as the wedding got closer, they decided that was a bad idea. And the night before the wedding, they launched an attack on the Protestant families who'd gathered for the wedding, starting with an elder statesman. They hit their people, grabbed him out of his bed, and threw him to his death out the window. And this led to 3 days of violence in Paris and then in the countryside all around France. The dead piled up in the streets, were collected in carts, and just dumped into the river that runs through downtown Paris called the Seine. What happened to the future son-in-law of the King and Queen of France, himself a Protestant? Well, he did the sensible thing, converted to Catholicism, thereby saving his life, and then later converted back to Protestantism, and then converted back to Catholicism on the eve of him becoming King of France. You can't make this stuff up. Then, as we continue in our story, Europe, blocked by the rising dominance of the Muslim Empire in the Mediterranean, launches the Age of Discovery as they try and find new trade routes to Asia, and along the way discover an entirely new continent, new animals, plants, and of course that just preceded the reign of this handsome fellow who's also got a story. When he was young, he had a little falling out, shall we say, a to-do with some of his aristocratic friends, and instead of working it out in therapy, he built this, the Palace of Versailles, draining the country's treasury for almost a year and a half of all of the income that they were making in order to build this huge, magnificent thing, and then invites all of the aristocrats to come live with him because you know what they say, keep your friends close and your enemies closer. Of course, again, in another major irony, in order to build this palace, he largely puts the country into a serious amount of debt. His successors continued, and then this leads to, well, revolution right at the time in which John Adams was becoming president in the United States. As you guys know, industrialization follows in the 1800s. This sets Europe apart from the rest of the world, leading to a century of global domination, so that by 1900, Europeans enjoyed a lifestyle based on trade and imports, not unlike our own. And like our world today, there were simmering tensions beneath the surface of this opulence and success. And these tensions took place at the height of Europe's dominance, leading to World War I, the flower of Europe, died in this, followed shortly thereafter by World War II and the sudden crazy end to a world that had been dominated by Europe for over 200 years. This is an amazing story. It's got incredible characters, subplots, countries appearing and disappearing, religious battles, philosophical battles, the stunning beauty of amazing artists and poets, writers, musicians. It's a story where you look a little deeper beyond the surface, you realize that nothing is as it seems, and that only adds depth and meaning to what we learn. If you talk to students who are taking or who have taken the course, I think you'll hear that it's a largely discussion-based class with a lot of reading and writing. It's a class that will take your historical thinking skills and writing skills to the next level. If you're in 10th grade, you'll learn how to read and write for the AP. That will set you up for AP US. If you're a history junkie and going into 11th grade and want to double up on both US and European history, AP Euro will provide insight and round out your understanding of American history. And if you're going to be a senior and you're looking for an elective that will help prepare you for courses you take in college, this class is a good bet. But this class is not for the faint of heart. The AP exam is 3¼ hours long and involves 55 multiple choice questions, a document-based question essay, another long essay question, and 3 15-minute short answer questions. It's a beast. And unlike US history, it involves multiple countries over a time period roughly 200 years longer than that of the US. Feel free to contact me with any questions or drop by room 302 in LaSalle for a conversation. And thanks for watching.